I'm Catherine Ross. I'm here live from the NYSE. Jim Cramer is off today, so joining me is Jeff Marks, Senior Portfolio Analyst with Action Alerts Plus. Jeff, let's kick it off by talking about trade. Now, we got news from President Trump on Friday that we've got a phase one deal in the works, but China's been pretty quiet about this. Are we still focused on whether or not the October 15th tariffs are going to be on the table?
Yeah, I think the tariffs being potentially delayed back is a big thing in the market right now, and really this temporary truce that we have, and I think the risk that all of a sudden the president might go off on like a tweet storm and escalate tensions further. I think that has been put on hold, and I think that's very important. But for really focus on the market right now, let's remember that we have corporate earnings coming this week, and there's going to be a lot of them. We're going to have the banks reporting, some big healthcare names, industrials. So I think that we're finally at the time where the market won't necessarily trade on whatever the latest trade headline is. It's really going to be more about the fundamentals and how these companies are doing. And I think that's very important for the next direction of the market.
Let's rewind. Let's go back to May. Now, we've had a lot of trade headlines. We've had a lot of volatility since then. But has anything really changed since May?
That's a good question. I guess since May, I would say with this latest deal, we have seen some progress. There is more of this commitment out there to buy ag products, and there is I would say somewhat of a blueprint, like a framework for down the line for maybe some more progressive talks. But if we have this framework, we have this commitment to buy the ag, and I think if the Chinese don't do it, then they're going to be losing the goodwill that has sort of been built up over the last couple weeks. So I would say there still has been progress made.
Our real money stock of the day today is Boeing, after Boeing announced that it was splitting the CEO and chairman position. Now, CEO Dennis Muilenburg will remain in the CEO position, but he's giving up the chairman position. When you're looking at this, you gotta wonder, is Boeing's board feeling a little nervous about the 737 MAX issue? Is the reason that they split these two roles because they just don't know what's gonna happen next?
Yeah, I in my opinion, the board is probably frustrated. They want to see those planes in the air. They want to see kind of Boeing, get back on track. So I'm not terribly surprised of this news because they really want to make sure that the CEO is focused on really getting whatever needs to be done regulatory-wise needed for those planes to get them back in the air. I wouldn't call this move a blood sacrifice, which if you're familiar with Succession, the last couple episodes, it's not a blood sacrifice like what we've seen, but they really want to get these planes back in the air. But if you're a shareholder of Boeing, I must say, you're probably quite happy with how resilient the stock has been over the last couple months. It hangs in there, and I think that's a good sign because if there ever is some positive news in Boeing, the stock could really take off again.
I want to ask about Facebook's Libra. Now, we've got news that Visa is now dropping out. So the amount of companies that signed on to this Libra project went from 28 to 23 now. Yeah. And should investors be worried about this?
Yeah, I don't think you need to be worried if you're a Facebook shareholder right now. Yes, there's a lot of people leaving. It's kind of funny. They're all kind of leaving. They're still supportive of, it sounds like they're very supportive of the project, the long-term vision of it. However, the regulatory challenges just seem a little bit too steep right now, and there's just been a lot of criticism around the product. So like the Visa, MasterCard, PayPal's, eBay's, they don't need that added headache, so to speak. But if you own Facebook right now, yes, this could be a little bit hit to sentiment, but really what you need to keep in mind is that the fundamentals still look pretty good. The advertising dollars keep coming in because there's no better place to advertise than on Facebook social platforms. So I think that's fine. Really, the only worry that you might have in the upcoming quarter is kind of what they say around operating expenses for 2020, but I still think the business is still performing pretty well. So I wouldn't be too worried about what's going on with Libra right at this moment.
We kind of get the official kick of earnings season, the kickoff starting tomorrow with Citibank, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan Chase, and Goldman Sachs. What are you expecting to hear from these big banks?
So with the banks, there's always a lot of moving parts, right? You're going to talk about loan growth, what that is, expenses, the efficiency ratio, how much the book value increases, decreases, hopefully increases if you're a shareholder. Really the metric that I'm kind of looking out for is the profitability metrics. That's going to be return on equity, return on tangible common equity. I think they're a fantastic indicator of what type of multiple these stocks should have. So if they are very profitable in what is kind of a difficult, uncertain, I would say global environment, then I think these stocks can go higher.
All right, now Jeff and I are about to head on over to Action Alerts Plus to go over the earnings that they're looking at this week. But I do want to say quickly that you guys have a big Action Alerts Plus monthly call coming up on Wednesday. Are you pumped?
Yeah, I'm glad you put that reminder out there. Yeah, it's going to be an exciting call. We got a lot to talk about. Obviously, there's a lot of earnings going on, so we'll have a day to digest the bank earnings. We have also a couple names reporting that around that time too, so we'll talk about a little bit of that. We got a recent initiation that I can't wait for Jim and I to dig deep into, and then we always dedicate a large portion of our call to a Q&A section, so just answering the calls that our club members submit us. So really excited, really looking forward to it this Wednesday.
All right, guys, now find us over on actionalertsplus.com. I'm Catherine Ross, and we'll see you tomorrow.